Welcome to VSB News Online for Friday, July 10th. I'm Peter Cattell. Government's plan to have the Minister of Home Affairs sign a Memorandum of Understanding with the corporations of Hamilton and St George's might have got a rough ride in Parliament today if the opposition initially decided to refrain from engaging in the debate by way of a protest. We asked Opposition Leader Mark Bean for the reason and had Attorney General Trevor Moniz give the government's view.
The challenge is that we have the most damning report of allegations of bribery and corruption, which has been going on for the last 2.5 years. I know for a fact it's true because I'm a party to that information, and it's something that I personally warned the government over and over and over again. And even after Jackgate was revealed, or the exposure of Jackgate came to the light of day, instead of a government that will humble themselves and say, okay, that was an error, that was a mistake, they in fact have decided to take the opposite approach and arrogantly feel that they are untouchable. And so here we have more evidence of further corruption and bribery with the same players involved. People have to understand, in regards to this Municipalities Act, this Municipalities Act was the legislative approach that this government took in seeking to bribe and extort Mr. Michael McLean. This was the example of what governments, without any accountability, without any checks and balances, this is what they do when they are seeking to destroy someone or trying to gain something for their own selfish reasons. And so it's beyond hypocrisy. But we're not sure how the Speaker can allow, well, we are sure, but no, we understand, why this still goes against normalcy within any normal functioning democracy. But we have found that over the last 1.5 years, Bermuda is a new norm. Whatever applies to Bermuda, it doesn't matter if it does not apply to anywhere else in the world. Under the OBA's government, their low standards have to be accepted by all.
Well, clearly the Corporation of Hamilton in particular has been in some disarray. So there needs to be a methodology whereby the central government can maintain good governance over the corporation. The Corporation of Hamilton in particular are going to be facing difficult financial circumstances going forward due to the strange dealings that were held with respect to Parleville, the waterfront, etc. And those are going to probably take years to resolve. I think Parleville is now in insolvency and winding up. The waterfront is obviously subject to large litigation. And also the Corporation of Hamilton had all sorts of problems with their ordinances, where they hadn't been enacted properly. So, and those were ordinances which affect their income, the revenue of the corporation, because they're from parking fines. There was also the clamping that everybody will recall, which they had to stop because that wasn't enacted appropriately. We in the Attorney General's chambers are trying to assist them to validate those parking ordinances and to get provisions for clamping so that it will be lawful, so they can move forward on a sound footing, and that they can have a good flow of revenue. That's part of their revenue flow. Obviously they charge rates, but in addition to that they need that source of revenue. So St. George's is in a different situation. St. George's traditionally got all their revenue from government. They didn't charge any rates. And we have tried to help them by giving them sources of income and by assisting them, with a new marina at Ordnance Island. When I was Minister of Public Works, we were helping them with the Queen's Bottom issue so they could get a new marina going, get new business opportunities going. So the Minister has signed memorandum of understanding with both the corporations. They have a good relationship going forward. This is about us helping the corporations to do a good job. It's not in Bermuda's interest if anyone isn't doing a good job. Obviously, it affects locals, tourists, residents of the town and the city. So we need to sort it out on a sound basis going forward. That's what we're doing.
Yet another poll has hit the streets, this time with a political flavor. Brian Darby has the story.
Premier Michael Dunkley had a favourability rating of 50.9% over opposition leader Mark Bean's 48.9%, according to the latest Profile of Bermuda poll, which asked the question, what is your overall opinion of our leaders? Is it favourable or unfavourable? While Mr. Bean's rating was not significantly different from Mr. Dunkley's, it was down from the 56.3% recorded in 2014, which was also the highest rating recorded since 2012. Three-quarters of white and other voters were likely to favour Premier Dunkley, as well as older voters. Mr. Bean drew his support from black voters, those in households that earned less than $50,000 per year, and voters between the ages of 35 and 54. When it came to job approval ratings, both were equal. Similar to his approval rating, Mr. Bean's job approval rating was also down from 2014 at 54.1%, again the highest rating since 2012. Whites and others tended to approve Mr. Dunkley's handling of the job. Mr. Bean's handling of his job drew black and household earning less than $50,000. Ryan Darby reporting for VSB News.
Close to 1,200 households were surveyed last year in the first ever Steps to a Well Bermuda survey. And Health Minister Jean Atherton provided Parliament today with some of the alarming statistics that have been gleaned from the report.
To be able to say that 74% of the people in Bermuda would be deemed to be obese or overweight is just staggering. But I think all of us have to turn around and look at ourselves in the mirror and sort of say, okay, hey, you know, we tend to make a little bit of an allowance, but when I see part of the data that indicates that the average waist size for men is like 35, but the average waist size for women is 34. Now, you know, when you were, you didn't say, but all the women out there know when they were growing up, 25 or 26 was what you were, what was it, 36, 26, 36? You were just hoping that was your size. But when you start talking about women's waist measurements of being around 35, that's staggering and that's concerning.
The report is a first, isn't it? This is your original work produced as the first trial report. Are you going to keep doing this?
Well, it's because it's done in conjunction with the World Health Organization. It's what I call a template that talks about how do you get information, and then, as you can appreciate, getting it takes time to collect and then talk about intervening. So we will start our intervention process, and then we will start to talk about when will we need to do it again to turn around and see if we're making inroads.
And it goes beyond than just the figures. It goes into suggestions of how it's really costing the economy a tremendous amount of money.
Yes, because especially with the NCDs, which are things which are non-communicable, which means that you can change it by lifestyle, you can change it by diet, and you can change it by more exercise. That is showing that it's 42% of the people have 3 or more diseases. And on top of that, when they were surveyed, 8% of those individuals had indicated that they'd either been off for work or they had to change their normal habit of what they were doing. So that means that if those people are off from work or not doing what they normally do, especially if they're in the workforce, you know, that's 8% of the people not there able to do their job.
It's about giving back, and that is exactly what a group of former Berkeley Institute students plan when they take to the stage tomorrow for the 2nd annual Summer Jazz Jam at the school's upper courtyard. Future eligible Berkeleyites will be the beneficiaries of the event, and Deputy Chair of the Berkeley Educational Society, Michael Swan, tells Charles Webb that the performers are thrilled to be giving back to their alma mater.
This is the 2nd annual Berkeley Jazz Jam, and it's for the scholarships for the Austin Thomas scholarship. It's a value of $5,000, and the other one is for Mr. Wilson, and that's for $5,000 as well. And the scholarships are for students, Berkeleyites, and they're awarded during prize giving and graduation for those students.
Now, does the scholarship designate what sort of study they should pursue?
No. The administration of the Berkeley, the teachers and the principal, they get together and they choose the scholarship recipients, and the society, we provide the funding for those scholarships.
Now, some of the participants in the concert are former Berkeleyites.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We have Shadante Tucker. He's a bass player. jazz musician. He graduated last year. He's coming back to perform, and with Malik Alec, who's a recent graduate of the Berkeley, and he's one of the scholarship recipients. Malik is going to university in Quebec, and he's going to be studying jazz. So he's a fantastic jazz musician.
So I find it unusual that a high school would be putting out scholarships for people studying jazz.
Well, Malik, he has overcome several challenges, and the scholarships is not only academic, but we have scholarships for students who've been outstanding and who have overcome challenges while attending high school.
Now, former Berkeleyite Barrett Dill, is he involved in this concert also?
Yes, Barrett Dill is involved in the concert. It's the second year he's performing, the Blues Jazz Band, and they'll be open up for us.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Bermuda hopes to join the rest of the civilized world in protecting the personal information of its citizens. And to that end, Dr. Grant Gibbons, Minister of Economic Development, tabled a draft protection act called PIPA in Parliament. He explained the rationale to Brian Darby.
So I think this has been, in many respects, a long time coming. What we've seen, particularly in the last couple of years with the growth in social media and then releases of personal information through hacking and other things, that people have become much more concerned about having their personal information released publicly. And this is exactly what this particular consultation draft does. It essentially uses accepted practices that have been used in other countries, other jurisdictions, and basically Bermudianizes them. So we will come forward early next year with a full-fledged piece of legislation. But we wanted to be able to get at least the outline of what we were doing out there early enough so that people could have a sense what the implications might be. And there's a possibility, obviously, that people may have comments which would be useful and we would incorporate into the final piece of legislation. But it's also critical for Bermuda as a jurisdiction as well, because with the advent of cloud sourcing and sort of the incredible amount of information which has been collected by some of the larger entities like Amazon and Google, the information that's collected here, for example, by doctors' offices, information that's collected when you apply for a loan or you sign up with a merchant, all of that needs to be protected from a personal perspective. But it needs to be done in a way that Bermuda is recognized as a trusted jurisdiction for personal information, so that if there are companies that are based here that want to do international business and information is involved, that we will be part of a trusted network.
Dr. Jennifer Attride Sterling, former Chief Executive of the Bermuda Health Council, has been named as the Permanent Secretary for Health, Seniors, and the Environment. An experienced watchdog within the health arena, Dr. Attride Sterling led the strategic and operational functions of the Health Council since its inception. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Derek Binns said she brings to the post of Permanent Secretary a strong background in policy and regulation. The 4 PLP constituencies in the West are getting together on Saturday to conduct a community cleanup at the Packwood Nursing Home in Somerset. Sands South MP Jamal Simmons provides the details.
This weekend, the joint Western Sands branch of the Progressive Labor Party will be having a cleanup day at the Packwood Hub. And this is part of something we have to really congratulate MP Dennis Lister, because this was his idea, that the 4 branches work together, number 33, 34, 35, and 36, on projects like this on an ongoing basis in our community. And we had a week of activities earlier this year where we met with several churches and we had several events with the family, and this is a culmination and a continuation of what we've been doing in the area.
needed at Blackwood?
Well, I think we looked at it and said that this is an area where they do a great job taking care of our seniors. They have a great job of being supported by the community, but every little bit helps. And, I think my colleague Dennis Lester always says you can tell a lot about our country by the way they treat the seniors and the young people. So this is a way to give back to our seniors.
And anyone can come along and help?
Oh, we welcome everyone. I mean, it's something that the more hands, the better, the more work that can be done. And, there's work to be done. And we look forward to getting our hands dirty and helping out there.
The hours?
We start at 7 a.m. for an 8 a.m. start, and we will stay there until the job is done.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
The 2015 Pan American Games will get underway right here in Toronto, Canada in just a few hours. Carlos Lee, the Bermuda team chef de mission, has announced that swimmer Julian Fletcher will carry the Bermuda flag during the opening ceremony. This will mark the second time that Fletcher will carry the Bermuda flag in an opening ceremony, as he performed the duties during the CAC Games back in November of last year in Veracruz, Mexico. At Lord's and St. David's yesterday, the Bermuda Under-19 cricket team shocked many Bermudians when they came away with a one-wicket victory over the United States of America. Needing a win to remain with a chance of advancing, Bermuda bowled the United States of America all out for 109 when they batted first. Udandan Posetti was the top scorer with 31, but it was Bermuda's bowling pair of Charles Trott and Corey Smith who tore through the batting. Smith finished with figures of 9 overs, 1 maiden, 5 for 27, while Trott bowled 10 overs, 1 maiden, 5 for 30. In reply, Bermuda made it closer than they needed to, but in the end, they got the all-important win, scoring 110 for 9. Trott was the team's top scorer with 18 not out, while Shaquille Otterbridge added 17. Kiefer Phil was the pick of the United States of America bowlers with figures of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 6 for 46. Malachi Jones has pleaded guilty to a Level 2 breach of the Bermuda Cricket Board's Code of Conduct, which it details showing serious dissent at an umpire's decision during his team Bailey's Bay's match against the Somerset Cricket Club. In accordance with the Code of Conduct sanction table, the penalty for a Level 2 breach first offence is a suspension from all cricket for a period sufficient to include 2 Logic Premier League games. Therefore, Jones has been banned from all cricket until July 20th. Logic and the Bermuda Cricket Board today announced O.J. Pitcher as the Logic Premier Division Player of the Week. Making today's announcement was Neil Rattery from Logic.
On behalf of Logic Communications, we would like to congratulate Mr. O.J. Pitcher for winning the Logic Premier Cricketer of the Week Award. OJ is not here today, so on behalf of OJ, Mr. Otis Marnes will be accepting this award on his behalf.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Right. On behalf of OJ Pitch, I'm accepting this award, this Logic Player of the Week Award. We'd like to thank Logic for providing the free internet to all the clubs. It's a good thing. We also want to thank Logic for the continued support throughout the Cricket League. And thanks again.
BMW is returning to the America's Cup both as a global sponsor for the regatta and a technical partner of two-time defending champion Oracle Team USA. The deal announced Thursday takes the combination of the event and team sponsorship to a new level. BMW had been a sponsor of Oracle's racing team for its 2003, 2007, and 2010 America Cup campaigns. BMW Oracle Racing won the America's Cup back in 2010. The German automaker did not sponsor Oracle in 2013 when the American-based crew staged one of its greatest comebacks in sport when it rallied from an 8-1 deficit to win 8 straight races on San Francisco Bay to retain the Auto Mug. Oracle has chosen to defend the Cup in Bermuda in 2017. Meanwhile, Jordan Amati, Micah Thomas Rayner, Adam Larson, Felix Cutler, Tate Stefanuk, Joe Arrowsmith, and Luke Medeiros all continued representing Bermuda at the Optimus North American Championships going on in Antigua. Bermuda team competed in the North American Team Racing Championships that saw United States of America win the event. Bermuda recorded a win against the British Virgin Islands in their first race, but fell to United States of America's third team in their second race. They went on and defeated Canada but they had a second loss and were eliminated after losing to Netherlands Antilles in the quarterfinals. The 2015 Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association's Junior Tennis Open tournament continued at the W.E.R. Joe Tennis Stadium yesterday. In boys 12 singles, Henry Boyle defeated Connor O'Keefe in straight sets 6-3, 6-3. Trey Mallory defeated David Leader in straight sets 6-love, 6-2 in their boys 18 singles match. In another boys 18 singles match, Dylan Powell defeated Tucker Powell 6-3, 6-1. In girls 18 singles, Kayla Ming defeated Bianca Colombi 6-3, 6-1, while Shelby Medeiros defeated Janaze Douglas 6-love, 6-love. Michael Franklin took to the courts to begin play in the $5,000 men's British Virgin Islands Squash Open. In his first round match, Franklin took on Cayman Islands' Cameron Stafford. He went down in a 4-set battle. Stafford won the first game 11-8, but Franklin would level the match at 1-1 when he won the second game 11-8. Stafford would take a 2-1 lead when he won the third game 11-7 before closing out the match with a fourth game win of 11-7. Jair Parford Williams and his West Ham United teammates recovered from an early red card of their two-goal hero in the first leg to ease past FC Lathanos and advance to the second round of the Europa League qualifiers. I'm Earl Based reporting from Toronto, Canada for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Saturday, July 11th, there will be sunny periods with a few showers and risk of thunder by afternoon. Winds will be westerly, moderate, with strong gusts around precipitation, easing light to moderate during the night. We are expecting a high near 85 Fahrenheit and a low near 77 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Friday, July 10th. I'm Peter Kitzel.